Hello, I'm Chloe and welcome to my cozy little corner of the internet. Today I'm doing a romance fantasy book tag because as a baby romantasy reader and a baby booktuber, I feel like we should get to know each other a little better. And so I tagged myself to do this tag. I don't have that many romantasy books to pull from. I was like more of a contemporary romance reader, but we're gonna do it anyway with the knowledge that I have because I want to get to know you guys if you're here to watch my video, and I want you to get to know me a little better, so let's do a fantasy romance book tag. The first question is, what got you into fantasy romance? When I was like preteen, teenager, I did read Twilight. Okay, we loved her. I read Hunger Games. I also read the Matched trilogy. Does anyone remember these books? Because these changed my life. Like 6-star read. I love those books. I ate them up. I will read them again soon. Like now that I'm 27, like I will read them again. I think I read them probably 15 years ago. Doesn't matter to me. I will dive right back in. I also read the Marked books. Me and some of my friends were reading those. There's like 11 of those books. There's a lot. I feel like what got me into reading fantasy romance as like every single one of my books in the last year was definitely, obviously, ACOTAR. Okay. Everyone and their mother has read this book, and if you have not read it, what you doing? I saw somebody at the bookstore the other day. It was a poor teenager that I subjected this to. But she was looking for the second book, and I happened to be looking through the fantasy section, obviously, and she was like, I didn't really like this one that much, and I was like, honestly, if you didn't like it that much, you'll probably like the second one better. She was wondering if she should still read the second and third, and I was like, the second one is the best one, but unfortunately the third one is the end of the trilogy of that like plot line, so I highly recommended it, and I wish that I knew her so I could go back and ask what she thought. But I was like, if you weren't a huge fan of this, that's okay. It's like Throne of Glass, okay? It gets better as you keep reading. But yeah, so what got you into fantasy romance? I would say this book, ACOTAR, definitely sparked my recent love of fantasy romance. Okay, the second question is, if you could live in any fantasy world, which one would it be? Once again, as a little baby romantasy reader, I don't know that many different types of worlds. And all of them have, like, something wrong with them. Like, Twilight seems pretty normal. Like, that'd be a good choice to live in, like, the Twilight world because it's just the world. But there's like a bunch of murderous vampires on the loose, and people go missing all the time. So odds I'm one of those people are like 50-50. You know, I'm not a fighter. I'm not someone that's gonna like be able to like escape, you know, a vampire obviously. But also like fourth wave would be pretty cool, but I'm not a dragon rider. I'd be like a scribe or something, and I would probably love that. The scribes seem to be like somewhat protected, so I feel like fourth wave would also be a great choice. As of the other ones, too scary for me, okay? Crescent City, too scary. ACOTAR world, too scary. I would say final answer is probably Twilight. I would live in the Twilight world. Is that a cop-out? If that's a cop-out, I would live in the Fourth Wing world as a scribe. The third question is, if you could marry one bookish hero or heroine, who would it be? I know a lot of people hate on the Cruel Prince, but I would marry Cardan. He's a great character. Yeah, he starts out bad, but like, the redemption arc is incredible. End of Queen of Nothing Cardan, I would marry him. I feel like another obvious answer would be Xaden, but again, I'm not a fighter. I don't think I could handle Xaden, I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm more of a Cardan girly. And is he my favorite book mailman character? No. But if this was like a FMK type of vibe, I would pick him to marry. For sure. Now, if I can pick Liam from Fourth Wing, I would also consider that one. Question number 4. If you could be any fantasy creature or magical being, what would you be? Definitely a shifter, because I just finished the Crescent City series. Shifters are on my mind. Now, will I be a wolf? No. Not my vibe. But a fawn like June, love it. She's not a shifter, but I would be a fawn. If I could be a full-on shifter though, I'd definitely go for like Lydia's deer shifting. That'd be so cool to like prance around as a deer. In this scenario, I'm in a cool and chill, frolicky world. I'm not in like the midst of war worlds. So in that case, I think my top choice would be a deer shifter. My second choice would be to be a fawn. Question number 5. If you could kill any fantasy romance character, who would it be? First off, obvious answer, Tamlin. You're done. Now, if the series keeps going and he has like some sort of redemption arc, I know some theories about Tamlin that if they were true, I'd be kind of down and I might change my answer. But for now, Tamlin, you're out. Question number 6. Which character would be your IRL best friend? Riddick from Fourth Wing. I love that guy. He would be amazing. I feel like I'm a very like silly, goofy, bubbly person. I like to crack jokes. I like witty humor. I like to kind of like take the seriousness out of situations, like, and kind of keep everything positive. I feel like Riddick is really good with that. Yeah, comic relief, loyalty, that'd be a great best friend to have. Number 7, what would be your fantasy weapon? Now, I'm gonna throw this out there, and I don't want you to remember this fact about me, but for this question, it's relevant. I do play video games, and my main video game is League of Legends. Yeah. Sorry to admit that, but my main game is League of Legends. You know that I play the little mage characters. I play the cute little mage supports. I play ADC, so I play like a lot of shooters. But me as a vibe, I'm a little mage girly. Okay, so my weapon of choice would be like a wand or a staff or something. I'm not a like in your face melee girl. Okay, I'm gonna support you from back here. I'm gonna throw little spells your way. So yeah, my weapon would definitely be a distance weapon, and it'd probably be a cute little staff. I'm Lux from League of Legends. That's all I'm saying. Question number 8: who is the sexiest fantasy romance character? Xaden. Next. It's Xaden, and if that's not your answer, I honestly would love to hear your answer, because I'm down. This is a debate I would love to have. If you want to present a sexy main character, male or female, I'm down to hear about it. Like, let's discuss. If you need me to read the book to understand your decision, I'm willing to do that. If I had not read Fourth Wing, I would probably say Reese from ACOTAR. As you can see, I have a type. Yes, I love to read about like the dark, broody people who like have a secret good side. So if you know any more books that I have never mentioned, and you're like, Chloe, you have to read this book, hand it over. I want to know about it. Question number 9 is pick one fantasy romance to burn. Now, I don't want to go that far. That seems kind of harsh. I have not read a book that I want to like completely rip off the face of this earth, okay? Now, hear me out. If I had to pick one, it would be House of Sky and Breath. Because, hold on. Wow. Because I think that book, nothing happens until 60%. It's a lot of buildup. It's a lot of this conversation happens, and then this conversation happens, and then this person from both conversations, then they talk and they have a conversation. I would rather submit that for a rewrite. Could we do rewrite instead of burn? I would rewrite that book. We could have made it into a 3-book series, but each book could have been smaller, and the distribution of content could have been changed along all 3 of them. I had to put in work to finish that book. Like, did I like it? Yeah, it was 3 stars. The first book to me, 4 stars. The third book, amazing, but not as life-changing as some of the other books I've read, so it's like a 4.5. So it's like a 4-star series to me, but it might have changed my life if I didn't have to turn so many pages and get through all this content of like not a lot happening. Fourth Wing, on the other hand, ton of pages, but stuff is always happening. Like the first and third book, stuff is happening. The plot is plotting. The second Crescent City book, not so much. So if I had to pick one to burn/rewrite, it would be that one. Question number 10. Choose one book that is the only book you can read. So you only have one fantasy romance book to read. You have to read that one book over and over again. I would choose Kingdom of Ash. I love this book. It changed my life. I cried throughout the entire thing. I loved every single bit of it. Stuff was happening. Everything that happened from before the series tied back into this single book. So if I had to choose only one book, it would be this one, because this has little pieces of the rest of the series as well. That might be kind of cheating, but I would never get tired of this book. Question number 11. If you could recommend one fantasy romance book to somebody new to the genre, what would it be? Since I'm kind of new to this genre, I've only read fantasy romance for like a year. And in the context of fantasy romance, that's not that long because there's so many books to go through. My circle of knowledge on this subject is very small. But I wanted to pick a book that, while Throne of Glass is my favorite series, the first book is not the best one in the series. I've heard some people say that they read Throne of Glass, the first book, and they're kind of iffy on it. Whereas me, someone who has read the entire series, that's like my god tier series. That's the best series I've ever read in my life. I didn't want to pick Throne of Glass because that's not the one that I would recommend if it was a singular book. Same with ACOTAR. I don't think the first book is like the best one in the ACOTAR series, in the ACOTAR world. So I wouldn't recommend that one. But I know this is like another, everyone knows this book and everyone has read it, but if I had to recommend one to somebody who has not read fantasy romance, I would pick Fourth Wing, because this first book, insane. It's like very Divergent coded. It's a huge vibe of Divergent, but very different content. But anyway, if you were someone who does not read fantasy romance and you were like, Chloe, what book should I read? I'd be like, this one. Read this one. And that's the end of the book tag, so I hope that you got to know a little bit more about me. I would love to hear some of your answers in the comments. If you were like, ooh, that question, girl, this person, this book, like this world, this fantasy character, this weapon, I want to know. And I know I only pulled from like a handful of books, but my job this year, my job is to expand my fantasy romance knowledge. I'm currently reading Lightlark, and like I said, I just finished Crescent City, so we're on our way there. It's just a bit of a slow road, but we'll get through it. 2025 is my year of fantasy romance. If you enjoyed this video, I would really love if you subscribed and stayed on the journey with me. I would love to have you back for some of the other videos. If you have not seen my 2025 TBR list, you can go watch that video. That was super fun to do. Thank you so much for watching. If you're just here for this video, it's so nice to have you here and so nice to meet you, and I will see you in the next one. Stay cozy.